I may actually put a wee ghost in there when it comes off.
We're also missing a jingle.
What jingle?
It needs to end with like a little jingle.
Do it?
No, just me. Okay, moving on.
What? Okay.
I think it just ends a bit too abrupt.
That's the
I think
point.
it needs to phase out.
It's meant to be sort of in your face. It's paranormal. It's not a friggin' picnic, mate.
Back on track. Now,
Neil, do you want to just do a podcast and get rid of these two clowns? Jesus Christ.
Only a little bit more than you guys do, really. Now spend.
How long have you been doing it for?
I've not been doing
done it for.
But I've spent about 12 years investigating paranormal for a local paranormal group.
How did you get into it, Neil?
The wife. She was interested in it. So I went along with her and then just got roped in, joined up. And then they needed somebody to take over the website, so I ran the website for a bit in the committee. And then they needed somebody to look after the tech, so I did that. So towards the end, all I was doing was reviewing footage, setting up all the cameras, setting up recorders, and then taking all the data off and putting it on for people to review. I've not had a huge amount, like I said in the chat, I've become more sceptical the longer I've done it.
See that?
any stand out sort of moments where you've really been freaked out?
Not where I've been freaked out. There was one place I went to, like down here, the group investigates it a lot. They used to use it as a training venue to like get people used to cameras and all that sort of thing. So they did investigations, but they also did like a whole day with an investigation at the end. And there was one in there. I've been there loads, so I knew a lot of the areas to like antagonise or anything like that. And I was sat in this one spot, which was allegedly the aggressive ghost spot. And I just sat there and just started antagonising. Go and do something. Do what you can. You're nothing. You can't do anything. Just all that sort of thing, just trying to get a reaction. And within about 5 minutes, I came over all sick and I had to leave the building. No explanation for it. And then 5 minutes outside, I was fine again. I could go back in. But I say it could be that I just started feeling sick. So that's what I was trying to get at in the chat. I was saying with paranormal, it's so hard to prove because of it being your own interpretation of what's going on and the amount of video and audio manipulation that can be done. You've got to take a lot of it on trust.
See, that's the thing. Is obviously even if you witness it yourself, you've still got your own bias as well. As if you want to believe in something, you're more likely to think if you hear something, you see something, you're going to attribute it to this or that, rather than sort of be more skeptical. Whereas if you don't really believe in that kind of stuff, you'll just go, yeah, it was just a cat, or it was just this, or it was just that. You're more likely to believe in it if you're already that way inclined anyway.
I think Neil summed up, put it in the chat as well. It was, for every good bit of evidence you've got got half of the community there then to tell you it's crap and pick holes in it. And tell you why that's not right.
Yeah.
Why that's not happened.
Yeah, it's a bit like conspiracy theories. And as soon as you're a conspiracy theorist, you're just known as the weird guy. Oh, don't listen to him. He's always got wacky ideas. I guess it's the same if you say, "Oh, I think I've seen a ghost or a spirit." And until there's a group of you that all sort of saying similar accounts, it kind of doesn't become believable.
Well, talking about that, I've never really seen or read anything where it's like a massive group has seen the same thing.
I don't know
if anyone else has.
Normally it'd be about 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. If you get I'm going to talk about UFOs, but you get this UFO phenomenons, there has been massive groups of people have all claimed they've seen the same stuff. there's a thing that happened in Wales. I can't remember the name of it. It was a school, and they all stand by that they all seen the same thing. Even to this day, they still say they've seen the same thing. It was an alien craft.
Different viewpoints as well. It wasn't just from one viewpoint.
So you're going,
that's a bit, the town, unconnected
yeah.
people.
Yep. So it's quite hard to discount that. But whereas we go, as you say, Tom, there's not that many.
And the biggest thing, like
mass events.
Maybe, I mean, I was skeptical anyway. Whereas mediums do my head in. They really do.
Yeah.
Wife used to love Derek Akora.
Derek getting his airtime. Go on, Gaz.
He get found out that fucking
watch
idiot.
it. We went down to Plymouth Pavilions to watch one of his shows, and we left it halfway through because it was fucking awful. Then he was there channeling somebody coming through, or his medium spirit friend was telling him about someone. And there was somebody probably like 2 rows behind us, and they were there saying it's me. He's like, no, it's not you. It's like, if you're talking to somebody, if they've recently passed, at least have the courtesy to hear them out, not just instantly dismiss them and go to your stooge.
Yeah.
So that's what turned me off. But in one of the other investigations we've done, we've had 2 mediums, or not mediums, but they say they're sensitive. Started off bouncing off each other, both completely different. But a 5-minute conversation with this spirit, they were talking about exactly the same thing. And it's things like that, as you can blatantly say they're feeding off each other, not feeding off any energies.
Yeah.
Here's a question now. You might not know the answer, but do you know why they're called mediums?
It's
because it's a conduit thing.
The same thing as recording. So if you're recording something, what you're recording on is the medium to be recorded on. Yep. So that just that's the medium between the initial sound and what's coming out, if you know what I mean.
Yep, that's what I would have thought it was, but that's what my logic would dictate. That's what it.
Yeah, I don't have any logic, mate. I've just got to ask questions.
To be honest, for a second there, I thought you generally knew that, Gary, and you was going to surprise us all with a cracking bit of knowledge.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, funny you should say that, Nial.
Yeah. No, not at all, mate. I've often thought it, thinking it's a really strange name, but now you've given the answer. Yeah. Absolutely makes sense.
And
I mean, talking of like, sorry, mate.
And that's the way I've always looked at it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, you're talking of like recording sounds and stuff. You sort of mentioned that you were setting up all the equipment and the recording stuff. What bit of equipment have you found to be, or in your belief, the most reliable bit of recording equipment?
Most reliable for actually capturing stuff would be standard voice recorder.
Okay.
Have you ever actually captured anything that you would
I've got a load. I was going through them earlier, and you can't really make out what it says. I know what it says because it's in the description. They've set it down, and this is what it says. But you really need to have it on high volume and headset on to actually pick it out. I was hoping to send some out, so I put some through here, but I just can't get them.
It's quite serious. Even if you can send them over to me, I've got quite a few bits of decent equipment that can sort of enhance sounds and all that.
Yeah, I can ping them across, yeah.
If you fire them over me, I'll try and get them fired up for next week. It'll be quite interesting
to hear them.
Yeah.
There's some weird ones. I mean, there was a load more when I was on the web, so there was loads on the back end of the web. I'm sure you probably know, when you're in the back end of the web, you've got a server where you store everything, then you can drop it in, or you upload new stuff, and it's stored on the server, and then you drop it in. But there was loads saved on the back of that, which were really good quality. But I haven't got access to them, but I have got access to a load that have been sorted.
Yeah, definitely. I'll send them over, mate. I'll have a wee swatch of them.
You've been in that scene quite a bit then now. One of the things that we touched on last week, which you would have heard, is around having readings from people. And my sister had one from some random person on TikTok that knew absolutely nothing about her. How would you explain how they do that? Tam sort of referred to it as a bit of a con and a bit of an art, and they're very clever people.
Mentalism.
It's
so 90% of it is mentalism, and there will be bits that they're either lucky or they do actually know. I say it's not something I've ever been privy to. I've never been sensitive. I've never picked up on anything. So I've known people who say they can, and they've been very accurate. But best thing to go to, have a look at Darren Brown.
Yeah.
Anything there. So what Darren Brown does, he breaks it down on how he does it, and he does exactly the same thing as a medium does, and 90% of the mediums are comment.
Essentially, Darren, I mean, he makes no things of. He's a magician. That's what he is. At his core, I mean, that's what it's all this sort of, it's illusion. It's all getting you to give up or whatever. They can sort of manipulate the situation. And that's what I was saying last week. They're very, very good at it, and you don't realise they're doing it. That's the scary part of it.
Yeah, you convince yourself that there's no possible way that they would know that.
Yeah.
But they've been clever enough to manipulate you without you realising.
That is interpretation as well.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter just wants to get into tarot reading. My mother loves tarot, but it is all on her interpretation of how she feels the cards. So what she feels the cards are telling her, and she interprets that. It is all interpretation.
What about Ouija boards?
I was partial to a Ouija board when I was whippersnapper.
Never rated them. I mean, we used to have a lot of issues with getting venues because we had a Ouija board, and just because of the stigma around it, they'll say like no Ouija boards. You can come in, but you don't use the Ouija board. Or if you mention you've got a Ouija board, it's like no, instant doors closed. We're not entertaining you.
The thing is, essentially, it's a kid's toy. I mean, that's basically what it is.
It's. I mean, what they used to use instead was glass. You see it almost haunted glass divination. But it's so easy to manipulate without looking like you're manipulating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, when you watch the stuff like that, you're shy. Yeah, someone's doing that. The
problem you've got is there's no way to prove that they are. So this is good, yes.
Yeah,
it's too easy to do.
He got kicked off of Most Haunted for doing research behind the background.
Well, yeah, because that was the thing, wasn't it? Because it was
somebody had said something that was false, and he heard them saying it, and then he repeated it on the show.
Kieran O'Keefe, who actually ended up taking over from Derek Cora, but he implanted a name into the in jail's history, and it was an acronym of Derek Baker.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I knew it was something.
Paper. That was the one.
So I always thought it was far-fetched anyway, because the way you'd like march around the room pretending to be Colonel Sanders, you know.
Yeah, I think that the way the show, Yvette Fielding, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The blonde presenter. I mean, it was quite clever casting because she was easily spooked, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And it made it more believable that as soon as one noise went off, she would scream and run out of the room. And it was really dramatised.
Yeah.
I think if it was just him on his own, you'd just think, absolute tit.
If you go to a paranormal investigation expecting Most Haunted, you'll be very disappointed.
Yeah.
Did
they not do a live one of that? And it was an absolute disaster. It was like hilarious.
They did no end of live ones, didn't they?
It was like a big one. It was years ago. I don't even know if you'd have been born at that time, Tom, to be honest.
I'm sure they'd done. Most Haunted.
No, this was a long time ago. They'd done it live on Channel 4 or something. It was a long time ago. And it was just, you were just watching it going, what the fuck am I watching here? It was nothing on it. Absolutely nothing. It was ridiculous.
Most of the action they got on there was people not watching the webcams and going, I've seen something here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Was it like an orb, wasn't it? Is that what it's called? Like the little white speck or something?
I don't even think there was anything on it, mate. It was literally nothing. It's on these TV's most embarrassing moments and all that. That guaranteed that pops up.
Yeah, because
it was so bad.
The way it kind of works is they'd have the website and then you'd get hundreds of thousands of people watching this one little camera of a dining room. And then you got like hundreds of them all seeing something different at the same time. And that goes to the point of it's what you want to see. You're not all going to see the same.
Yeah. My life as a tech manager was sat there watching a CCTV screen.
Yeah.
4 cameras just scanning through them.
And see, and there you go. That's the thing. That's all people are going to see or not see is what. So obviously you tell them if you caught anything or whatnot, but then that's down to your view on it.
Yeah, so as the group is one of the better ones around because they go in with the mindset for evidence. They want to disprove everything.
Yeah.
So they lock it instantly to the heating. Oh, I've got tingly skin. Right, where's your EMF? Where's your Wi-Fi hub? Where's your mains electric?
Yeah.
Because 90% of what you'll see in most house hauntings is just EMF radiation from places or rattly pipes, creaky floorboards.
But I think, as you say, Neil, I think that is the way you have to go into these situations. You have to go in with a sceptical mind. I'm not saying a closed mind, but you have to go in saying, right, convince me. You have to convince me. I mean, that's... Yeah. We were talking last week, talking about the mediums. That's how I would go in. I would go in and go, like, convince me.
Yeah, because that's the way you got to... It's like, you're not going in for it to be proved that... Am I going to word this?
In English.
I've just seen a little cogs turning.
Yeah.
They are very little cogs.
Calendar.
Mr. November here.
Yeah.
Skip on what I was going to say because it's gone.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thanks for completely derailing that conversation.
I've completely killed it. I'm sorry.
No, you say you got into it through. You say your wife?
Yeah.
Is there anything that in particular that got her into looking into it, or just something that she's always been interested in?
I think it was just something I've always had an interest as well. But I'm sure it's something she was always interested in. She went along to one before she moved away with the same group. And when she moved back down, we got together. It was like, let's go and do that as something to do. There's difference going to the pub and getting hammered on Saturday night.
And I mean, that's it. That's the thing as well, isn't it? I think it is just something that's good just to have something to do. It's like darts. So for me, a big part of it is something to do. I'm certainly not that good at it, so I don't do it for the personal fulfillment.
Tom, you seem very interested. Have you had any experiences?
Yes.
I do a minute, I get a pillow.
So, and covered this in one of the other ones. I can't. So I am convinced that I seen my granddad.
Yeah.
When I was younger, and then I can't say if it is or isn't. But since then, I've been fascinated by it. I don't know if you heard the story that I told of my younger brother. So when he was very young, and obviously my grandparents died even before I was born. So I'd never have met him. He'd have had no chance. And we never had any pictures of him up. And then they found a picture of him and they put it in a frame and put it on the mantelpiece. And then that's when he turned around and said, that's my friend, that's who I talk to. It was a bit creepy.
Yeah.
As in, like, because then I'm convinced I've seen him. I remember my mum saying before that she's thinking that she's seen him in the house. And then obviously that's come out. It's a bit, I don't know. I'd like to think I have had the experience. I can't explain it. I can't say it's something out the corner of my eye.
That's where the belief thing comes in, isn't it?
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, most of the belief is people wanting comfort in what they've seen. So people going in and going, oh no, you didn't see that. That's what this was. It was a shadow in the corner with the light coming through and ripples on the wall is bringing up that face. And washing any comfort that person's got from it.
I mean, because that's the thing. It goes both ways. As you're saying, it's sort of, if you want to believe that is a thing, then you'll see it from that side. But if you're the polar opposite. You'll dismiss everything that you see. And there's got to be a sort of middle ground. And
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
I don't think you can't believe everything that you see, because, like Niall said, 90% of it is explainable.
Yeah.
But,
I saw something on Facebook the other day which is so relatable, and you think it kind of fits into this topic of what your mind wants you to believe. And it said, my most irrational fear as a child. And it was a picture of a kid swimming in a swimming pool, and then like a big great white shark underneath them. And you think, oh my God, I remember that, like jumping into the diving pool thinking, shit, there's a shark in there. But if you tell yourself that there is, you'll utterly be convinced.
Yeah.
A bit like when you have to go downstairs and turn the light off and it's pitch black as a kid, and you run up the stairs and you think the boogeyman's in there.
Yeah. Try being a kid when Jaws came out.
No, I'm talking when I was like 2, 3. Apparently, I would sit awake in the room and just be talking, and I would sleep. Don't matter what time of day it was, but I'd be in the dark talking away, and I would only go to sleep once Mum or Dad had turned around and said, "Right, leave him alone now. Go to sleep. It's time for him to go to sleep." And then once that, I'll go to sleep. I can't remember any of that.
I see. It's stuff like that, though, isn't it? It's like
I've had 2 unexplainable experiences, and one was, again, I've always been interested in the paranormal. Was primary school. I was doing one of the school projects, and I was doing it on ghosts. So I was going around all the haunted areas, taking photos, all that sort of thing. Have you heard of Bury Conroy Castle?
I say, I have.
It is up in like the top 20 haunted places in the UK. So if you Google it, it'll come up.
Is that down your way now?
Yeah, it's probably about 10 miles from me.
Oh, okay.
And so doing that last, I had loads of photos, took the camera down, took 3 cameras. Every single camera broke on the way down to their thing. So when we got to the car park, none of the cameras would work. Managed to get one working. I was going around taking photos, and there's one area which I think it's the Grey Lady's cell. So the ghost of the Grey Lady's up there. Apparently the cell's where she died. And the story behind that is her sister imprisoned her down there because her lover got her pregnant. Locked her in the cell, starved her to death. Or something along those lines. But I got to the top of the stairs of that cell and I froze. I could not take a further step. So from that, carried on, went up the turret, and as I was on there, I was leaning over the edge, and so I had Mum's hand on back, chatting away to her, and I looked down, and Mum was right at the bottom. And so just as soon as I saw her, that hand disappeared from her back.
Yeah, that's weird.
And then from that, I went back down, and I could go down in that cell. I didn't freeze at the top. Really weird. Cannot explain it. Now, whether that's just 8, 9-year-olds' imagination.
You see, that's the thing. It goes back to we're talking about as adults. You go, but if you're a kid, you don't get all that sort of stuff. So that's
just take it. Point blank.
It just makes you sort of question what the hell's that all about? That's super strange.
And that is why they say kids are more susceptible. Same with poltergeist activity is generally centered around adolescents, and normally adolescent girls.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Didn't mean to start laughing.
Jesus, wet.
That. Just as we're talking about kids and what you think as a kid, Tom's burping in the background.
Yeah.
At least it's dressed this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true.
The other
flashback
experience I had was the last investigation my wife did. And we were in a honeymoon suite of a castle. So we're investigating, especially the most wanted room in the castle. And doing your calling out, doing the EVPs as standard. And literally heard that footsteps on wood come down the side of the bed, in between me and her. She's up and gone. No CCTV flying. So I've not followed her. I've gone straight back to where it started and tried to recreate it. It was a carpet floor. So I could not recreate that sound. That's the only other unexplainable experience I've had.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, so that's similar to a story that my dad had, which made him believe, was when he stayed at my auntie's house, which was well known within the family as being heavily haunted. And he was like, yeah, and I don't believe in any of that. It's a load of rubbish. And he stayed down there with my mum one night in the guest room, and he was laying in bed and he could hear the sound of footsteps across a wooden floor. And he said what can only be described as the sound of like metal chains being dragged behind it. And he said it was really weird because there's like footsteps with a metal clicking and dragging. And he laid in bed absolutely terrified, didn't want to get out, thought, no, just stay here. And then in the morning, my nan allegedly said to him, oh, you were restless last night. I heard you up and about. And he said, no, it wasn't me. He said, but I heard it as well. And that's what made him absolutely terrified. And there's so many different stories from that house. I think I touched on it the other week that in the end, the house got demolished. It was in a place called Petworth, if you've heard of it.
No.
Yeah, but the house ended up getting demolished because of the activity that was reported from it. And yeah, it's mental to think that nothing could be proved, but they went as far as demolishing the property. And that's what I can't get my head round, which is why I would never be completely closed off to it.
Yes, I'm not closed off to it because of the experiences I have had. But again, from probably 10 years of investigating to have 3 experiences and a handful of EVPs is what I...
Well, I feel a exclusive darts league ghost hunt on the horizon.
Yep.
Calendars, ghost hunts. What can't we do?
Hit
So if you want
320s in a row. Not all of us. Neil seems to be pretty good at it.
Winchester Mansion would be a good place for that. So it's big enough.
What was that, mate?
Winchester.
Woodchester.
Or Woodchester.
Yeah, it's in Hampshire.
Don't get me wrong, it'd be good. It would be a good laugh to try it, actually.
It's a Gothic castle that was abandoned halfway through building, allegedly down to demonic worship, and I think they just ran out of money. But it's just eerie how all the tools were left. So 1800s, your tools were your life. But say there were their shoes, all sorts, just got tools gone.
See, even when it's like, you know, you get like the demonic group site that do like that stuff. If I was to go somewhere like that, I'd still arm myself up, even though I'm not like, I'd have like crucifixes on me, holy water. I'll be fully prepared, so I'm not going to get any kind of attachment.
You religious?
Sorry, you've got a big gas with you, mate. You'll be fine.
I'll be scared in the corner, mate.
You'll be running over the top, everybody.
Tell me what you see, Tom. Tell me what you see. Report it back. Yeah.
But
I love it, though.
It's a strange thing. It's a very subjective thing. I think it's how you view whatever it is that you've seen or stuff like
Sorry.
I think that's... Tom, are you with us? Oh, yes.
Lounge.
I think Neil sort of hit the nail on the head, and you sort of touched on it last week, Tam, that with my sister's reading, I think it's what I want to believe.
Yeah.
Is having that comfort of, that's my nan coming through. Which, the more you think about it, the more you think, you absolute arseholes, you're playing with people's like emotions.
Right.
But the thing is, as well, Gary, is if it makes you or your sister feel better, then is there really any harm in it? It's different if they're trying to get money out of you in other ways, not just the money you're spending, obviously. Well, is there any harm actually in it if it brings someone comfort? Who knows?
Yeah, I guess it's one way to look at it. Fascinating stuff, though. What is the most haunted place that you think you went to in that time now?
Oh, probably The one that had most activity was an old tin mine in Cornwall.
Okay.
It's off the beaten track. It's not registered anywhere. It's just someone that a friend of a friend of a friend knew, so managed to get the group in. And we had all sorts of activity there once we'd shut all the cameras and everything off. So we had almost nothing through the night. And again, that's somewhere where I could have had an experience. We used to put glow sticks down to obviously mark hazards in the dark, so all your lights are off, you don't want to be tripping over them. I was going around, went around outside, picked them all up. And so this is about 3 o'clock in the morning. Somebody walking their dog down the path. It was like, evening. Had an evening back, no problem. Went in. And as they were going through stuff that has happened there in the past, so you have a debrief at the end, you go through what each team's found and then known hauntings that have happened there. A man with a dog walking down that path is one of them. So it could have been just a man with a dog, or it could have been an experience. It's one of those. Again, I'm not a believer in all the energies, but they do a close down at the end. So you open yourself up to the spirits, you close yourself down at the end so you don't take any attachments home. And while we're doing that, there were bangs and all sorts going around upstairs, stuff being dragged around. There's doors being slammed in the toilets. There's nobody else. The only people in there were us in this main hall. So that was unexplained. We couldn't find out why. I was outside having a smoke, and there was hands being slammed against the window upstairs. Again, nobody up there. But blatant, you could hear just like a slap of hand on glass. That's what we've had the most activity, but none of it was recorded because it was all afterwards once we were setting up to go home.
That was my heart is actually starting to race just listening to that. I couldn't even imagine what that would have been like actually being there.
Me and 2 others was like, right, get the keys, straight back upstairs. And nothing moved. It was all as it should be. Really weird.
Yes, I think that's where we'd have a different approach. Yeah.
Go.
See, I'm too nosy to run away. I'm like you, Niall. I would have to go and see, like, what the hell was that?
And at the end of the day, what is a spirit going to do to you?
She's at it.
Makes you come.
Oh, Jesus. There's Tom trying to actually think of what it will do to you.
It's not going to attack you with a dagger in the dark, is it?
Sorry. No.
I've seen the film Ghost. You never know what can happen.
If you want to get on, do some pottery when you hear that sort of thing, you carry on.
But see, you say that, and you go.
And he's saying that to the two of you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sorted.
But that could be Mark.
Quickly go back to that before we move on and whatnot. You just said, what will a spirit do to you? What's the worst it can do?
Yeah.
Stogging it. But see, you believe it could have potentially made you feel sick.
Yeah, possibly.
So, in that thing, it could have the potential to bring on. I've seen stories where they say it can bring on heart attacks and.
Well, it could do, but you could also be susceptible to a heart attack, and the adrenaline rush of hearing something is what sets it off.
Yeah.
That is.
So, I'll take my chances in the woods.
Fair enough. Just be careful.
Got visions of us all on the ghost hunt and me and Tom running out with a little torch in the woods.
Yeah. You're
legging it for the bus.
Dora the Explorer bag on your back.
You Google Winchester Mansion, and I mean, even just a look at the place, driving down to it's so impressive because it's got like a 1.5 mile long drive. It's all overcut like trees over the road. Then it opens out and you drive around the corner and just see this huge Gothic mansion. It's like, yeah, this is haunted. And it's just the way it looked.
So Winchester Mansion, did you say?
Yeah.
I'm going to put it up so that everyone can.
Yeah. Well,
Tom's going to put a picture of it up so we can sleep tonight.
Yeah. That's how I roll, mate.
Quick question now.
Mansions in the UK.
I'd be interested to see that. I was going to say, Neil, was that throughout this, you've you've shared your experiences, but also given quite a realistic rationale behind what you think you've seen and heard.
Yeah.
Which almost steers towards it's your own mind.
I believe it.
What's your wife's stance? What's your wife's stance on it with all of her stuff?
Very similar, and she's more on the spiritual side of it.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a spiritual medium, she's more into that, and she believes that slightly more. Not so much after seeing Derek Cora.
Yeah.
That side of it is what she's much more interested in. And one of the biggest things she told me about is a picture she saw. Is her ex's nan, just before her nan died. They took a photo of her in her bed, and she sat up smiling at the camera, and there's a mirror next to her. So obviously, if you're looking there, and the camera's there, or the mirror's there, the reflection will be looking away because you're looking away, but the reflection in the mirror was looking at the camera as well. Yeah. She said that's the most compelling evidence she's ever seen of it, but she wasn't allowed to take it. She wanted to take a picture, but she wasn't allowed.
Mm. So frustrating, isn't it? Because that's where these accounts come from, is where the most giving bit of evidence is never there, is it? It's a bit like the fisherman's tale of the one that got away.
And have you seen the CCTV video of what's allegedly Henry VIII at Hampton Court?
No.
Look on YouTube for it. It's been... it's a white figure that slams open fire escape and then pulls it shut and disappears.
Well,
is that there?
Oh, mate. Look at that place.
Imagine driving down to that, all you can see is trees, and then you come around the corner and that's what you see.
Yeah.
Building.
I'm not going to lie, I've done literally the same as Tamir and had a quick Google of it. You couldn't have picked a creepier photo, Tam.
I'm not being funny, mate, but I actually was looking for the creepiest picture I could get. There was one that was creepier than that, but it was actually quite small, so I thought it's not got the same impact.
Yeah, Gary, don't worry, there's quite a lot of pleasant looking of it where it looks like quite a nice building.
Have they got a bar?
Yeah.
It's completely unfinished. There's residence accommodation, so there's a caretaker that lives there permanently. And that's the only place that's got running water and electric. There is plugs around in a couple of rooms. But I think near one of the windows, there's a section where the floor hasn't been done. So you at the top, you look through a door and straight to the floor.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
That's right. First, that's a fall, Gary. That's a little step for you.
That'd be like base jumping for you. Oh, mate, I could not go around that place, I don't think.
I would love it, mate. I think we need to do it. Whereabouts is that?
It's in Hampshire somewhere. And says it's about 2.5 hours, 3 hours from me. Says,
well, it's 4 hours from me then, maybe.
No, probably about 6 from me because it's along the south coast.
Well, he has his way down, mate. Right?
Be a dream for me.
Yeah. Or a nightmare. Or a nightmare, mate.
Shame on the only one that doesn't want to fucking go.
There we go, guys. Look out in the future for the inclusive
Ghost Hunters.
Let's see if we can actually get Gary to shit himself.
Mate. It'll not be good.
Not be good. Probably speak to the group and see if they would hold one.
I would do it, mate. I would happily do it.
So I've always wanted to go on one, and I've always had like a fear or, I don't know, something that stops me from doing it.
We'll hold hands, Tom.
There's nothing to be scared about with it.
Yeah, you say that, but all I can imagine is sitting there and it's like a marble rolling in front of me in the dark. And at that point,
that would be...
I'm either A, jumping out of a window, B, shitting myself, or C, both.
And if you're with a good group, they wouldn't let you do either of that and then investigate where that marble came from.
Although video you
And there's
laugh.
just Tam sat there with a bunch of them playing marbles with himself. Sorry.
Thomas.
Oh,
I mean,
brilliant.
That's the thing. Don't get me wrong. There's certain things that obviously I don't care who you are. If there's certain things that would freak you out, but it would need to be a lot before I would start the sort of super freak out stuff.
Well, there's another unexplained thing. Have you? So, if you're interested in paranormal, did you ever watch the fucking Fullwoods on Channel 4?
The what?
The fucking Fullwoods. It was a documentary on the Fullwood family. It was on Channel 4 for, I think it was about 6 episodes.
No, I've not heard of that one, mate.
No, never heard of it.
It's basically about the full family. I think they're one of the only families that still have their mansion. So it's their family mansion. They've still got it. It's not been converted into flats or anything like that. It's still owned by them. It's not like English heritage or anything like that. And they try and raise money. So obviously they got a load of money from Channel 4 to run a documentary on them. But we've done investigations at their house, their place as well. And there were always X amount of money for so many rooms. You never went into there. It was always the not abandoned part, but not part of the living really. Room, grand staircase, dining room, that sort of thing. And in the old kitchen, the last time I went there was the price and reduced the amount of time and rooms we had. So there was 3 of us as a committee there slagging off the family. The broom just went bang right behind us. Now, I'm sure I've got the video somewhere. If I can find that, I'll send it to you. But the way one of the girls jumped is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that'd have been me.
Again, it
Screaming in my little dress.
might have just fallen over, but it's just a coincidence that while we're slagging off the family, you see this bang, broom hitting the floor.
Yeah.
That's at the time where, like, flight or fight, and I'll just start swinging. Whoever's in the way.
Just windmilling. Do you know who I am?
You want some?
No. Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
But no, that was
I
brilliant.
found that fascinating. Thank you so much, Niall. I really appreciate it.
Definitely need to get you on again, mate. We'll do another one of these. It's pretty good at getting someone else's point of view and perspective.
I'll see if I can dig out some of the footage I've got as well.
Yeah, 100%.
brilliant.
Yeah.
If you send me that over, I've got a lot of fairly advanced sort of software that can.
So I'll send it across here. It'll have what's thought to be said there.
Yep.
But if you keep that to yourself, just
Yeah, that's what I'll do, mate.
make them up.
And I'll tidy it up and get rid of the background noise and enhance whatever's there.
Oh, new segment next week, Gary. Guess what the ghost says?
I'll save it.
Gary's not here.
Yeah, Gary's done a runner.
Gary's left the chat.
We'll do it the next time. We'll get you on again, Neil, and we'll do it the next time. See
Yeah,
if the
sure.
boys can hear it. It'd be pretty interesting to do it again.
Thanks so much, mate. That's
All
awesome.
right, it's been a pleasure as always.